introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm so glad to be with you. My name is Carolina Marrelli, and I am a wife and a mom. I'm a musician, an artist, and I'm also a holistic health coach for women. I'm the principal of a company called EquiBalance Health. And in a nutshell, I basically help women that are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired to stop feeling that way as quickly and as naturally as possible. So that's what I do.
And that's a lot of us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A lot of us need your help out here. So let's start with our icebreaker. Can you tell me about your first business etiquette experience and what were the results?
Oh my
Or have you?
gosh. Okay. So my first job post internship out of college, I worked in the creative field. I was a designer before this career happened. And I was working in a company called Legg Mason. They are an investment banking company. And I was at the world headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland. And no one ever taught me that you never sit at the head of a table when you go to a meeting, that's for like the head honcho.
Yes.
And I sat down at the head of the table and I was very politely asked to move and I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed.
But at least they said it politely.
So politely, right? Here I am, like this kid fresh out of college, right? Thinking I know everything. And I'm a goofy woman. Okay. I'm very serious when it comes to my work, but I have a very goofy personality. And so I'm all like, hey, like thinking like sitting at the head of the table, this is awesome. And it was like, Carolina, you need to move. This belongs to the president of the company. And I was like, oh, so embarrassed. I wanted to die. I was so embarrassed.
Oh my gosh.
I had no idea. I had no idea. None.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
That's a good one, but that's a new one.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No. I ask the questions here now.
Okay.
Excuse me, y'all. That was funny to me. So we know what you're doing career-wise. EquiBalance.
EquiBalance Health.
EquiBalance Health.
Yeah.
Guys, she has these oils, and these oils are fantastic. They are for different type of things like anxiety, the digestive system.
Yeah.
That's just two of them. And I know there's so many more because I actually have 6 of them, guys. So I will post some information, or Carolina, you can give your contact information at the end.
Okay.
And then you guys can get in touch with her because I know there are a lot of people out there that really, really need these oils. Oils are better than pills.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay, so in high school, did you know what you wanted to do with your life?
I thought I did. I did, but and my life ended up having a massive trajectory change later down the line. But in high school, I wanted to be a graphic designer and I wanted to be a musician. And I got kicked out of piano lessons and told I had no musical gifting. So that dream died a very ugly death, but then resurrected itself in college. But I went to a small private Christian school and there was no art program there. So I was trying to get into the Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore. I was living in Miami and I was competing with all these kids that went to a magnet art school called New World. And I was turned down from the school 3 times, 3 years in a row. And the second time around, my mom let me like sulk for a few months. And then she's like, all right, enough. Are you going to let your dream die or are you going to get up and do something about it? And I was like, okay, I'm going to do something about it. And I went to a couple different art colleges over the summer over 2 years to keep working on my portfolio and got into the Maryland Institute early admissions. And then when I graduated and I moved back to Miami, before I moved back to Miami, I stayed to work in Baltimore and I ended up teaching at the school part-time.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting hired by the school to go and review portfolios for the school. And I ended up taking the job of the guy that had turned me down 3 years in a row. Though persistence pays.
It does.
Persistence
And
pays. Yeah.
and meanness just does not. And
No,
it could
no.
have been a thing where, okay, so we think he's mean, but maybe he was trying to
I
help
wasn't
you get
ready.
more exposure,
Oh,
right?
he wasn't mean at all. I wasn't qualified yet. I needed to earn my way into that school.
Yes, I
And
like that.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And the guy was, I mean, he wasn't very nice about it, but he wasn't trying to be a jerk, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I learned a very valuable lesson from that experience.
You've learned some lessons, girl.
Oh, girl, you
I
know.
like it.
So have
I
you.
like it. Yeah, you're right. So in high school, did you do any interns?
I did. I worked in the creative department at Burger King World Headquarters, and I was in the creative department there. I got connected with that internship by a family friend that was a VP there. And so I would spend my days in the summertime. It was just one summer working with the creative department. And at the time, they didn't outsource to advertising agencies or design firms. Like everything was done in house. And so I got to see all the behind the scenes things. And then on my lunch break, I went and I taste tested Whoppers and fries and all, like they were always making these new sandwiches and stuff. And I would go in and I was in heaven, man. I loved it. I couldn't eat that
Yeah,
stuff now, but like, oh my gosh, it was so fun. It was
yeah,
so
but
fun.
that's good exposure up
It was.
in headquarters. Yeah.
Yep. So that was my first internship in high school. And then I did more in college. And each one was very different. And I learned a lot. And it was a lot of fun. But I think in an internship situation, you get the education that college can't give to you. You get real world hands on experience, which a book does not teach you.
True.
And it can be very eye-opening and kind of scary because you don't realize what you don't know and how much you don't know. But that's where you find really great mentors to
Yes.
help lead you and guide you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we're looking for right there.
Yeah.
Because at the end of our program, we want our young ladies interning,
Yeah.
right? We want them in internships.
Yeah.
Internships there are different things about it. You either um, intern and say, I don't like this. This is not my path.
Mhm.
Okay. But you complete it. Once you started, you complete it. Another part of it is, yes, perfect for me. This is exactly what I've been looking for. So now you're getting the exposure to what you really like.
Yeah. Yeah.
One part of it is you get paid. Another part is you don't get paid, but you're still getting the experience.
And you're building very valuable relationships that can stay with you for a very long time if you invest in them. And
Yes.
my one of I worked at a or I interned at a PR agency in Miami called Citygate Gordon Diaz Balart. It was they had a little design section they had a PR part, copywriting, and then they had creative graphic design. And so we would design all the things that other PR agencies or like businesses would give out for their whoever they were promoting or whatnot, or whatever they were promoting.
Mhm.
And one of the women that ran the PR side, I connected with her really, really well on the internship. I didn't work directly with her because she was working with the copywriters and whatnot, and I was on the design side, but she she just became such an influential woman in my life as a businesswoman, as a woman of faith. She was very involved in the community and helping out and mentoring and this, that, and the other. And before I moved to Charlotte at the end of last summer, I met with her. We've stayed in touch all these years. I mean, it's been over 20 years.
That's great.
And she's helping me with was helping me with some PR stuff. And it's really cool how, these people can become valuable assets to you later down the line. And then the same you for them as well, because everybody has a gift to offer and something to help to give out to help other people. And so it really it's like a pay it forward kind of thing at first, and then it comes back to you in return. It's really, really good.
Yeah. And that's true. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you kept in touch with her. You were able to work with her.
Mhm.
Now that you're older, more
Mhm.
experienced, she can see what she put into you come right back out. That's
That's right.
fantastic.
That's
Oh, that
right.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So, how do you think company culture impacts business etiquette?
So I've had, this is a really great question because every business is different.
Yes.
And in my experience, so I've worked corporate, financial, being in the creative industry and the financial. And then I was in advertising where it was like, all these creative people together. And then we would go into client offices where it could be, a huge mall, or it can be like University of Miami, or it can be a real estate agency hiring the ad agency to do work for them. And so you have to be able to adjust to whatever environment you're in. And I've also worked in design firms. And now, now that I'm in holistic health, I've worked with doctors. And I have had to learn how to conduct myself based on the environment that I'm in.
Yeah, because
So
they're very broad.
very, very broad. So creative, please. It is so fun and wild. And everyone's like got crazy hair and wearing funky clothes. And then, the corporate side is all suits and ties. When we would go into, when I was in advertising and we go in to meet with, we worked with a lot of very high-end real estate developers managing billion-dollar developments,
Wow.
like huge. And you did not fool around in there. Like yes, we were creative, but we went in like, no, there was no wild hair.
Right.
Like you were dressed to the nines and you
Yeah.
behaved a certain way, right? You knew your place, you knew when to speak, when not to speak, and it comes with trial and error. It really does. And having a mentor to tell you within your business, like, hey, this is such and such, this is the president of the company, they sit here, you don't say anything until the account executive does all the talking, and then they tell you as the creative person to present the whatever you're pitching. So it's just different in every place. And it's just, again, just being aware of your surroundings, the people that you're with, the way that they dress, the way that they speak. There's a time and a place to have fun, and there's a time and a place where you need to be like, I'm a professional adult,
Yes.
even though maybe 40 and feel like you're 25, or 15, like there's a time and a place for it. And it's just knowing and having to discern, when things are appropriate and when they're not.
You answered that so well, so clear.
Thank you.
I mean, it was like a great answer. It covered every aspect of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way.
But you learned.
I learned, yes.
And now you're able to give it back. You're able to just, like regurgitate it. It comes right back to mind. And you really spoke it very, very well. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope it helps someone listening.
Yes. I hope that it helps. I hope that they are really listening to everything you just said, because you've covered, that was a lot. It was very, very broad, going from one end to the other, the dress code over there, the dress code here, the hairstyles, the professionalism, where you sit, when to talk, when to present. That's a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah.
But you have to be able to juggle many things.
Yes.
When you go into the workforce, it's not just like, a lot of times you get brought in to do one job and you end up doing many things that are not on the list that you're hired for. And you have to be prepared to juggle and do things that you're not prepared to do,
Exactly. To
That's
change hats.
all part of it. Yes, this is all part of it for sure.
Yes. And the thing about that, Carolina, is that even though you're hired for this one position, you could be asked to do something else, being tested, right?
Yeah.
There's
they want to see what your attitude's like.
Right. Because there could be someone back there that's just waiting to mentor you. They see something in you that you don't even see in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they want to help you pull it out.
Yeah.
That's where a mentor comes in. That's when they become your mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good points. Good points. So what's your level of education?
I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in visual communications. And then I am a certified holistic health coach and a certified plant-based medicine specialist, AKA I am certified to teach essential oil usage medicinally. So that is my education. I have enough credits to be halfway through a master's right now in health coaching, but no time to go in and actually sit and complete another 2 years of school because I've got little ones. So I'm working
Yeah.
on it though. Yeah.
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 Well, it'll come.
It'll
No,
come.
it'll come. And I love the fact that um, you do have the little ones. So when you do get ready to go back, they're watching you.
Yeah. Yeah.
This education is important to you, and they can
It
see
is.
that.
And
Yeah.
I'm always in some sort of course, class,
Mm.
and not because I'm getting ready to get ready to get ready, as my coach tells me. It's because in order for me to stay on top of my skills and my game, and technology is always changing,
Yes.
I have to be. And
Yes.
I feel like it helps me to be able to add more value to the people that I work with, or that I am, I do a lot of public speaking. So people that I speak to, and being able to stay on top of the latest things is really, really important. And I think it keeps your brain active, and it
Yes.
keeps you challenged, and you just have so much more to offer.
You do.
Yeah.
You're very okay. Dubai's daughter Land. She's very, very well spoken, and I knew this coming in, but I need you all to hear this. Very, very clear about what you're saying. Yeah, I can't. I can go on, but I won't. But it's very, very clear what you're saying, and it all means something. Education is important. It is to stay on top of things, because everything is constantly changing. So you have to be adaptable, right? You have to be able to learn this. Okay, this was yesterday. I remember they used to do it like this. Well, they're not doing it like that anymore.
No.
Now they're doing it like this. So you're just jumping right in. I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
it.
I mean, and we see
Yeah.
this now with the pandemic. And at
Yeah.
the time of this recording, it's February 2021. And, last year, all the schools had to, the teachers had to learn how to use Zoom or Google Classroom and be able to adjust. And business people had to pivot really quickly. And, it was hard. It was not easy for a lot of people. Everyone was doing Skype, and then it's like, I mean, a lot of business people were using Zoom, but the mass majority we're meeting in person with people and doing things over email and whatnot. And then all of a sudden it's like, I have to learn how to use all these new platforms. Kids are forced to learn all the new platforms.
I was
And
forced.
yeah, and it was challenging. So being able to adapt to change quickly instead of getting paralyzed it's an important skill to have going into the workforce, and just in any stage of life. And it reminds me of the book Who Moved My Cheese. If you've ever heard of that book, it's a really good book. Everyone needs to read it. And it's about change and being able to adapt to change. And it's like one of these stories they use, like it's fiction, like about these mice
Yeah.
that every day they go to get their cheese, and all of a sudden one day the cheese is gone. And how one adapts to it and adapts to the change and finds new cheese, and the other one freaks out and is paralyzed and keeps running to the same spot where his cheese used to be, and it's no longer there. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Right.
So I would highly recommend that book to anyone, young, old. Who Moved My Cheese? It's fantastic.
Do you know the author? Do you know the author?
I do. I have the book on my shelf. It's Spencer Johnson. Spencer Johnson.
Okay.
He's got another one. He's got one that comes out after the name of that. I'm sorry. He has another one that he released. That's the second book to that. And I'm spacing on the name at the moment, but it was really good.
That's fine. Would you let me know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
Okay.
message it.
So Who Moved the Cheese by?
Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson.
Okay. We got it. Okay. We're going to move right on. I like that. And I'm going to be looking for it. So have you noticed business etiquette lacking in companies today?
I think so. I mean, I saw it when I was working in these various jobs. I see it now too. I think it's just some people just don't care.
And
Other people
especially
do. Yeah, like some people just expect things to be handed to them, and it's like it doesn't work like that. Like you need to work. Like,
yeah. And you know what? A lot of people say that the millennials are like that. They expect everything to be handed to them. I don't see it as just millennials.
I think it's
You know,
a
I
lot.
love millennials. So
Yeah,
I
I do
mean,
too.
that's a big thing. But I don't think it's just that age group. I think there are a lot of people that expect things to just fall in their laps.
Yeah, I see it across the board. I see it the most with millennials though, for sure. For sure. And it's a problem for a lot of business owner friends I have. It's like, no, you need to earn that position. Like you need to learn the lessons, work your way up, and then you can get paid that kind of money, or just, there's a lack of respect that people have too in speaking with others. And you see it a lot on social media. Like people will say things on social media they would never say to somebody's
In
face,
person.
ever, ever. And for the young women listening to this, a lot of companies will look at your social media pages to see how you behave, and they will not hire you based on your social media. So
Yes.
you really want to make sure that, like, you know, you're really thinking about the choices that you make now, because it can affect you later in a negative way.
Yes.
And just being mindful of the young woman that you are, the potential that you have, the kind of future you want to have. It could be awesome. It could be absolutely awesome. But the decisions that you make today are going to affect that future later
Yes.
down the line.
Now,
That's a
actually,
big one.
that's very, very huge. But actually, our audience are adults. They're not the
Oh,
15 years.
it's not the young
It's
girls.
not
Okay.
the participants. It's not because I mean I just can't imagine a 15 through 17-year on a podcast. So, there are some. However, we're talking to the parents,
Mm,
counselors, teachers, grandparents, the aunts, uncles. All of these people know someone that fits good in our program. So that advice still
gotcha.
is so important. It is still so important
Yeah. Then this is
because
good.
now, yeah, well, now
This is
the
good stuff
parents
that can be
hear it.
shared. Yeah.
Mhm. With the parents listening to it, now you know to watch what your child puts on social media,
Mhm.
right? You're supposed to be watching that anyway, but you're definitely watching that. And or you can tell them, be careful what you put on social media, you
Yeah.
know?
Can come back to bite you in the butt really badly. Really,
Yes,
really
it
badly.
does. It really, really
Because
does.
somebody, like, it's like that whole 6 degree of separation statement. Like, somebody will know somebody, and
They know
it just
somebody.
comes back. It ends up coming back. I've heard horror stories from people. Like, I'm so glad that when I was, I mean, I went to college in 96. So, like, we didn't have it was like MySpace was just beginning. It wasn't, I didn't even have email till my freshman year. Like, I didn't have a cell phone till like I graduate. Like, it's so, and I just can't imagine having the access to what young people have now. Back then, like, it's my own son, my 8-year-old wants a cell phone. I'm like, no, you're not having a smartphone. Like, you do not need a smartphone. You do not need access to the internet. Like,
It's
no.
too much access.
No, 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 no. I'm like, when you're gonna get a phone, you're gonna get a little flip phone that has numbers you punch in. Like,
I like
one
it.
for mom, two for dad. Like, call me overprotective, but it's just the world's going crazy,
You
right
know
now. And
what, Carolina, I don't call that overprotective because I felt the same way. I feel like I am an overprotective parent, and my daughter's 27. My daughter's married. I still have that because I still see the little girl. You
yeah,
know, I know she's grown and she's a wonderful woman. She's great. But looking out of mommy eyes, you know what I mean? You
yeah,
still see the little girl, even with my nieces and nephews, I still see them as the little young person. Although I know when I talk to you, and now I've got kids and everything.
yeah.
It doesn't change that I was there when you were born, Like one of my nieces, I was actually in the delivery room.
Mm.
one of my niece, that niece I named. And now she is 32,
Wow.
married, 4 children. It's not overprotective. It's you have to have a hand in everything. See, I'm the aunt with them, right?
Mhm.
And that's why I say the podcast is for aunts, uncles, parents, guardians. It's for everybody
Mhm.
because you should have a part in what they're doing.
Mhm.
You should be involved in what they're doing. Maybe the mom won't hear the podcast, but the aunt will,
Yeah. Yeah.
or the uncle will. Oh my, there's this great program out there, and I think Susie would be just great for it. I think I'm going to edit this out, but that was fun. That was fun. Let's go on. Okay, so pretty much that. I'm going to cut this out too. So I'm going to ask a question for you. Do you have any advice for our listeners, or do you have any questions for us as Dubai's daughter?
Wow, that's a really deep question there. I think one thing that I would encourage is as women of influence or uncle, men and women of influence in young people's lives, I think it's important to remember that we can be our own worst enemy. And as a person of influence in somebody else's life, to be an encourager and to remind them who they are when they forget and call out their greatness, because you may be the only person that calls it out and they need that. And you don't know what your words can do to turn that person's life around for the better. Maybe they won't give up on their dream because of something that you say. So I would really encourage that. And even if encouragement isn't like a natural thing for you, you just don't know the power of one sentence and how that's going to impact another person's life. So I think that's what I would want to leave everyone with that's listening to this.
It's powerful. That's so true, and it's powerful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, do you want to um, give our listeners your contact information, or would you like? Is that something you'd like for me to do?
Yeah, I'd love to. And then maybe you can put it in the show notes or something.
I will.
So I am very active on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is Carolina R Marrelli, RRL. So it's Carolina RMARRELLI. And then if you look up EquiBalance Health on Facebook, you can find me there. I'm also on LinkedIn, Carolina Marrelli, and my website is equibalancehealth.com.
All right. Thank you. I will
You're
put
so
all of
welcome.
that. I'll put all of that up there so they'll get the correct spelling and
Okay.
everything. Okay. All right. So we thank you so much, Carolina,
You're so
for your
welcome.
wise words. Your words of encouragement, your knowledge, all of it. All of it is just perfect. And there's someone out there that is going to hear this podcast, and hopefully they're picking up on the right things. So we
Mm,
thank you very much.
You're so
We
welcome. Thank you. This is a true honor to be able to speak to your audience and hopefully encourage some people.
absolutely thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
please check out our website, devisedaughter.org. We'd also like for you to listen to a podcast on Spotify. When you're on there, just go ahead and hit the follow button so you can catch up with the other episodes. Please be mindful of our Facebook page, it's Dubai's Daughter, and LinkedIn. If you want to connect with us, you can also do that on LinkedIn, and that's also Dubai's Daughter. We thank you very much, and we will speak with you soon.